Sarah, and Vinny on Alice at 97.3.
All right, everyone. Here is your review of The Big Short. Christian Bale, Steve Carrell, Ryan Gosling, and Brad Pitt. It's Brad Pitt's movie, by the way. It's his production company. So this film is based on a book which documents the several key players who benefited the most from the financial housing crisis that started in 2007. There were roughly 5 to 7 people that saw it coming, that weren't in the government, that didn't plan it, and they're the ones that bet against the whole world and won. Marcus, understanding the financial crisis, really understanding credit default swaps, collateral debt obligation, synthetic CDOs with derivatives. Does this movie do a good job in an entertaining way of making sense of those things?
Yeah, man, absolutely. What a interesting and fascinating motion picture. I would actually sit through it again. It was one of the most interesting films I've seen in a long time.
Do you feel like now you can speak to the problems that we had? Like you know why they happened?
I feel like I have a much better... Listen, the way they set it up, it's really unique because it's almost like watching one of those old school movies you would sit and watch in class where they explain like some science theory to you. It's done just like that. We'll give you this example to do this. We'll have toys to
But it was entertaining.
Super entertaining. They have cameos from people who would come in and give you, like, what was her name?
Selena
Gomez and a few others. Margot Robbie would pop in.
They're constantly breaking the fourth wall to explain stuff to you.
Yeah,
constantly.
Really
and
unique.
It worked.
And it
really
worked really well. Ryan Gosling was fantastic.
Phenomenal. He broke the fourth wall a million times. Did you walk away from this movie thinking ultimately the people who were aware of this, who were responsible, run the government? The president, the chairman of the Fed, the U.S. Supreme Court, the credit rating agencies, the financial media. Did you walk away going, okay, they knew, they were aware, and they did nothing?
Well, I don't know if the White House was pretty much responsible, but I think the people who were in the financial industry were really the culprits based on this film because they knew so much about what was going on and they did nothing to stop it because they were benefiting from it for so many years.
So many years.
And then by the time anybody had to come and pay the piper, it was too late. There was nothing they could do to stop it. It was going to happen. The minute this thing started, back in the early 90s, at some point, somebody's going to have to pay the bill, and these guys who found out, who actually went in, the problem was nobody was actually reading the mortgages.
And everyone was unaware.
No one was reading them. And so when these handful of people actually decided to go ahead and unbundle these things and read them, they were like, oh my God, this is going to destroy everything, and it almost brought down the entire world economy. And it did for a while. Really fascinating. I think everybody should see it. Just so good.
So one of the things they keep talking about in this movie is these guys who predicted this was going to happen also predicted that, hey, guess what? No one in charge is going to suffer.
Yep.
And the people that kind of made this a reality, this horrible corruption, are going to game the system in a way so that the teachers and the immigrants and the blue-collar workers will all be blamed for this. Their unawareness. Not us for manipulating the system, but the little man. And they're the ones that are going to pay everything off, and they were right. And that's exactly what happened. And overnight, $5 trillion, poof, disappeared.
No one went to jail.
No one went. Only one banker in the whole world went to jail. One. Only one. So this movie Marcus, will this movie bring forth any change whatsoever?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Nothing. Nothing will happen.
Nope.
Because nothing has happened. And this, we got out of this in 2010.
Oh, because people are still greedy?
Well,
they've actually started doing the same stuff again.
Yeah,
that's what you find out
at the end of the film. So, is the U.S. government worse than Vegas? Is it ultimately one giant casino?
Well, we always knew that.
It's one giant casino.
The stock market itself is basically gambling, so it's not like any of this stuff is super surprising.
You have to see, at one point, Christian Bale's character walks into Goldman Sachs and Deutsche Bank and everyone and says, I want to introduce a new casino game, and I'm going to bet against the whole world. And here are all the regulations. And they read the regulations, they go, okay, we'll take that bet. And then he bets $1.3 billion, and then he cashes out $267 billion or something like that.
Oh my God.
Crazy. So to sum it all up, let me just say this. This is one of my top 3 movies of the year. What a perfect way to show and teach an impossibly complicated topic.
Yeah.
The saddest thing about this film is nothing has changed, and the horrible people that misled everyone are free, and they're the ones, believe it or not today, that get to influence all of our policy in terms of banking and government. But it's brilliant. And Brad Pitt, once again, another home run. I'm going to be pulling for this to win Best Picture. I'm going to give it 4 3/4 Persians.
I'm not even sure if it'll be nominated, but if it is, I definitely would stick it in as one of the 10 nominees for Oscar this year. Just excellent.
It got a Golden Globe nomination in the Best Comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Is it a comedy?
It's
Yes.
kind of a farce. Yeah.
It's a total comedy.
Yeah, I'd put it in that.
You're laughing, but you're sick on the inside the entire
See,
time.
that's part of why it's so good, because here you have this super serious subject. It's really very, 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 very
people's
scary.
lives were ruined.
It's super scary, but you can't help but to laugh at how ridiculous this whole thing is, and that everybody seems to know about it, and yet nobody's doing anything to stop it. A great film. I'm giving it 4 Aussies, man.